1st of July, wonderful winter's morning. We're going to be tasting through our Vineyard Selection range, which is a range that really evolves around the best that we do. These are predominantly single vineyard wines, or wines that come from a site-specific vineyard and are made obviously in limited volumes. We're going to start with a 2010 Vineyard Selection Sauvignon Blanc, which is basically a wine from one single site in the Jonkershoek Valley. This is predominantly soils that comprise weathered granite. It also has a lot of shale, but also soils with wonderful physical properties, and that gives us very good water retention ability. We had a good winter with a build up to the 2010 vintage and obviously good rains too. We've been trialing this style of wine over a long period of time, so we're fairly confident that 2010 will evolve in the way that we'd like it to. These are wines that are predominantly barrel fermented, but the whole objective is never to see wines that are obtrusively influenced by oak. What we really are looking for is this wonderful mouthfeel and richness of palate that one sort of derives from barrel fermentation. The wine, obviously, we also look for a combination of complexities, but fruit stays the backbone, or almost want to term it the front door of the wine. So these are wines that show very recognizable Sauvignon characteristics, and more specifically from that area. Once these grapes arrive at the winery, they are typically whole bunch pressed, juice cleaned up, and then obviously taken to barrel. We will always retain a percentage of wine that would be tank fermented, and typically this would be the fresh component. 2010, what we're seeing here is a wine that is really showing lovely qualities of Sauvignon Blanc fruit, sort of very vibrant, lemony, zesty, but underpinning that you can see the influence of barrel aging and the complexity that adds. I think another element that we're very, very fond of are white wines that tend to show a lot of restraint, minerality, but underpinning all that, there's a lot of power to this wine. And in terms of ageability, we've got samples going back as long as 10 years that are still showing wonderful freshness, good fruit, and obviously time in bottle has added a lot of complexity. But I'd certainly say if one looks at 2010, it's certainly a vintage that would benefit between 3 and 5 years of further aging.